Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video on my channel, Hairliciously. If you guys are new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe so that you guys are updated on hair loss and hair transplant topics, as well as updates on current hair loss treatments in the pipeline. Visit my website at hairliciously.com to purchase a microneedling device, which is scientifically proven to stimulate hair growth, my low-level laser therapy cap, DHT blocking shampoo, conditioner, and serum, hair growth vitamins, and a few other products to help those who are losing hair. So in today's video, I actually have some really exciting news that I wanted to share with you guys regarding the Chinese company Kintor Pharmaceutical's topical non-steroidal anti-androgen KX-826, also commonly known as Pyrilutamide. Let me do a quick recap on KX-826 for those who are new to the channel and haven't really been following their progress. Basically, the only two FDA-approved hair loss medications that is currently available in the US is Finasteride, which is a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor that lowers scalp and systemic DHT levels. And then we also have Minoxidil, aka Rogaine, which is a growth stimulant. To this day, despite after it being more than 2 decades, we still don't have better hair loss treatments, let alone an FDA-approved hair loss treatment that directly targets the androgen receptor. And this is when Kintor Pharmaceutical can come in, fill that void, and give us another arsenal that we can actually add to our hair loss stack to slow down the progression of androgenic alopecia. Now, because anti-androgens can prevent testosterone, DHT, other endogenous androgens from binding to androgen receptors in the hair follicles, the chances of it actually going systemic is very low. It's very minimal, and it can potentially open up the doors for people who have, suffered from adverse side effects from Finasteride, Dutasteride. A lot of these people suffer from, sexual dysfunction, low libido, and even for those people who have not responded favorably. And because it does work in a different mechanism of action, you can combine it with a 5-AR inhibitor and a growth stimulant. You can use microneedling to maximize your hair growth potential by targeting hair loss through various mechanisms of action. A 5-AR inhibitor like Finasteride or Dutasteride will work in slowing down hair loss for the majority of users, but you also have to realize that there are still going to be remnants of scalp and systemic DHT and androgens that are circulating in the system, let alone a spike in testosterone levels, which, obviously is still going to be androgenic in nature. So for someone who is suffering from an aggressive form of androgenic alopecia, or for somebody who is no longer responding to treatment, throwing in an anti-androgen like KX-826 to target the androgen receptors from binding to androgens can greatly help slow down the progression of hair loss and give you that extra layer of protection that 5-AR inhibitors are not able to give. Kintor Pharmaceutical has finally released the long-dreaded phase 2 clinical trial results of KX-826, and luckily the results are very promising. So phase 2 looked into the efficacy and safety of KX-826 in a multi-centered, randomized, double-blinded, placebo-controlled clinical trial that involved a total of 120 Chinese adult males with a mean age of about 35 years. All the men involved in the study were between a NORD 3 vertex to a NORD 5, and they were assigned various concentrations of KX-826. 2.5 milligram, which is 0.25% concentration twice a day, 5 milligram, 0.5% concentration once daily, 5 milligrams, 0.5% concentration twice a day, and then we have placebo. From this clinical trial, the goal was to look at the mean change from baseline in the number of non-vellus hairs in the target area after 24 weeks of treatment, as well as changes in the hair diameter. The graph on the left shows the mean changes in total area hair count from baseline at 24 weeks of treatment, and we can clearly see that application of 5 milligrams, 0.5% concentration pyrilutamide twice a day had the highest efficacy for increased hair count at nearly 23 hairs per centimeter squared. And then the mean change in total area hair count in the placebo group on the right also shows 5 milligram twice a day application had the most significant improvement by over 15 hairs per centimeter squared. Now, to put this in perspective, studies on 0.25% topical finasteride and 1 milligram finasteride after 24 weeks of treatment were around 20 to 21 hairs per centimeter squared. So the efficacy in terms of increased hair count with pyrilutamide actually surpasses that of finasteride and is even comparable to that of 0.5 milligram dutasteride. Now, this is incredible news because we know that pyrilutamide is now even more efficacious than finasteride orally or topically, and this is with a different mechanism of action, which means that if you were to stack it with other hair loss treatments like Minoxidil and finasteride or dutasteride, you're very likely to see even more improvement in hair growth. Now, this next table here shows secondary efficacy endpoints that look into to the changes in total area hair count and total area hair width after 6, 12, and 18 weeks of treatment. We can still continue to see that at each specified week interval, 5 milligrams twice a day was most efficacious for both total area hair count and total area hair width. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the result showing the safety of KX-826 after 14 days of topical application. The systemic exposure of KX-826 and its metabolite KX-982 reached steady state in vivo. Transdermal blood concentrations were low in all dose groups, with detectable KX-826 blood concentrations ranging from 0.3 to 4.1 nanograms per milliliter, and KX-982 blood concentrations ranging from 0.4 to 10.4 nanograms per milliliter. So obviously, you know, this does show that it's going to go to your bloodstream, that it goes systemic, but at very low levels. 3 cases of dose reduction due to adverse events were classified as grade 1 contact dermatitis, grade 2 rash, and grade 1 pruritus. Incidence of adverse drug reactions was 16.1%, with pruritus at 5.9% being the most common adverse reaction, followed by contact dermatitis at 2.5%. Grade 3 and 4 hypertriglyceridemia occurred once each in one case, but baseline triglyceride values were high, no serious adverse events, no serious adverse drug reaction, and no deaths occurred. You guys might say 16.1% adverse drug reaction may seem pretty high, but luckily most of them were due to skin irritation, and the most important thing that I got out of this was that there were no known sexual side effects. I think this is a huge win, because most people who stop using Finasteride or Dutasteride is because of it going systemic and causing unwanted, sexual side effects like erectile dysfunction, low libido. But despite KX-826 going systemic at low levels, it was nevertheless very well tolerated. Now, phase 3 clinical trials is going to include randomized, double-blinded, placebo-controlled parameters, a total of 416 male subjects with a duration treatment of 24 weeks. And then finally, a primary endpoint of change in number of non-vellus target area hair count from baseline to week 24. We probably should be getting an update on phase 3 clinical trial results sometime early next year. And if all goes as planned, I speculate that we can expect commercialization of KX-826 Pyrilutamide to be as early as maybe 2023 to early to mid 2024. I'm sure some of you guys already know this about Kintor, but they also are undergoing phase 1 clinical trials for GT20029, which is an androgen receptor degrader that degrades the AR protein and reduces the sensitivity of AR to androgens without too much systemic exposure and accumulation of the drug. So, this also holds a lot of promise in the future of treating hair loss, yet through another incredible mechanism of action, because being able to target and degrade certain proteins in general, not just for treating hair loss, is going to open up the path in being able to target specific proteins in the body that can cause abnormal growth, like, different types of cancers, and therefore theoretically curing a plethora of diseases. This is incredible news. Like I said, I'm super excited in the direction that Kintor Pharmaceutical is heading towards. Kintor is by far one of my most favorite hair loss treatment companies, and this is one of the few companies that I really, honestly feel that is going to do really well. Once this is commercialized, I definitely plan on adding an anti-androgen to my hair loss treatment stack. There are people who are already, using KX-826, but I want to wait and see what phase 3 clinical trials are going to look like, especially since they are going to have a larger population test size. And I look forward to their results, and I am fairly optimistic that they're going to do well, and we'll definitely keep you guys posted about KX-826. But that wraps up this video, guys. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on KX-826 Pyrilutamide. Thanks for your support. Thanks for watching. Make sure to smash the like button for more hair loss content. And I will keep you guys updated on phase 3 clinical trials as soon as I receive them. But until then, I will talk to you guys in my next video. Take care, guys.